of your time. Lost where you are, better place you are. This is the opposition you've been searching for. I'm the lover, the filmmaker. I'm the pictures in full. So if you want it all, and if you're searching for your crown of thorns, it's out me of yours. And if you're waiting for salvation when no more can turn inside, but I can't turn it down. This life is what we make it. Since that's the case, embrace our broader placement. And with the passing of time, all saints will learn who defines what's right, what's sacred. So if you want it all, and if you're searching for your crown of thorns, it's out me of yours. And if you're waiting for salvation when no more can turn inside, but I can't turn it down. So soak it up, we'll celebrate your growth. Be still and know that you are wrong. 'Cause they could hear us in the darkness from underneath their beds. We crawled into the room, now they're crawling in your head. No one knew the full of thoughts. It's not the reason we didn't come. We'll strip away their innocence, take away their love. Your blood is only a trophy on our lips. It hurts our smiles, stretch out as our pointed finger tips. Reach for the one thing you have left. Just hit her, 'cause pain is always the price you'll disperse for love. Is it worth your love? So if you want it all, and if you're searching for your crown of thorns, it's out me of yours. And if you're waiting for salvation when no more can turn inside, but I can't turn it down. Deliver you to
What's up? What's up, boys and girls? Starting out with some little jams, getting y'all pumped and awakened. I don't even know what words we are and aren't able to use anymore without sounding like retards, but welcome back to The System is Down, where we talk about all the uncomfortable content like conspiracies, politics, religion, all the things that trigger you. We're gonna talk about, Tom Hanks, the disappointed father of America, and a whole bunch of vaccine stuff and a whole bunch of political stuff. We're gonna get into that here in just a moment. Before we do, let's get you all pumped up even some more with this little ditty here. Let's get weird, boys and girls.
All I ask is, if we have to give these bastards our lives, we give them hell before we do!
The tragedy of our day is the climate of fear in which we live.
Talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing.
I would ask the congressman to withdraw that comment and tell us that he really means that.
Half of Trump supporters do what I call activist support.
I don't know what I said. I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
The Bible commands that certain people be put to death.
Tease or possesses weapons of mass destruction. 9/11 attacks were carried out by Al-Qaeda.
handle the truth.
I remember that with that smoke. We are still here!
We have to say yes to socialism.
Bet you want to know. It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
It's a big club, and you ain't in it, but you're in this club. You're in this cult or whatever you want to call this place where we like to unzip our brains a little bit and think for ourselves. And you know, I used to say this show is all about talking to people that you civilly disagree with, being civil and talking to people. It still is about that, but the civil is I'm kind of losing my taste for civility at this point because things are getting a little bit more desperate and a little bit more stupid. I'm not going to use the R word. I'm going to save it. I don't want to push my quota for YouTube too early in the show. But welcome back to the show. It's another fun one for you that we've got planned here, and that's enough of the music. Yeah, I'm a little disheveled because my co-host today showed up early, and by early I mean on time, and I thought we were starting 2 hours later. We're going to introduce him in just a second. Who is it? Mystery guy? I don't know. You could probably guess. You have a 50% chance of getting it right. But before we get into that, I do have to remind you about a couple things. Gotta do the business stuff and remind you about you guys in the Downers Club. People like Trenton Campbell, Van Zott Media, Stephen Hartman, Pavlik Chains Serrato, Brian Johnson, Anthony Peoples, Carolina B, Lincoln Stack, Jack Casey, Rick Duran, Javari, Andrew Sitchling, Mark Clare, Kyle Evans, Pearl Brandenberger, Craig DeCosta, Ryan Morganson. I made it farther than usual. We are Libertarians. Stephen Hartman, Tim Brown, Aaron Stewart, Howie Snowden, Brian McWilliams, David White, Lucas Riley, Mary Rome, Justin Linsky, The Liberty Hippie, John Barnhouse, and William Wells. Those are people in the Downers Club. You also can get your name on that list and also have your name possibly read on this show if it is, pretty enough to stand out and easily read. By going to patreon.com/The System Is Down, you'll get more weird, more raw, more offensive, more weekly content, bonus episodes of the show every single week, where we do extended interviews. We do the after party for what we're doing here, where we hang out and read some more articles and roast them. And last week I did we do the Freak of the Week submissions. Afterwards, we broke down every single one of the stories that you submitted. So if you have something that you've submitted and you want to hear us talk about it, you can probably get our thoughts over in the Downers Club at patreon.com/The System Is Down. This episode is also brought to you by our store. Go buy a shirt. You can get ones like this, Unity Camp, Summer of Love, Healing, Cleansing by Any Means Necessary, Biden, Harris, with the Antifa flag and the UFO and the burning and the pyramid and the all-seeing eye. You can get that at thesystemisdown.tv. Just go into the store and get it. You can also get this lovely and very elegant I Heart New York. I'm not going to explain it again. You know what it is. And, of course, the latest Dare to Resist Drugs and Violence, which is the Dare logo with, grenades and bombs and police brutality and forced injections and big pharma. Get all that at thesystemisdown.tv and go to the shop. So we are also sponsored by the Royal Green, which I've talked about a lot on this show. And the Royal Green, it's got conspiracies, politics, and religion in it. I hear it's all future-y and sci-fi-ish, but I'm too ADHD to read anything, so I don't do that. But you can check it out at theroyalgreen.com. And most importantly, he's got a new book that just came out, the third one in the series. The second one is here. It's In Silver Throned. I haven't talked about that one much because I know even less about that one. Doesn't even have a color in the title that I can relate to. But his latest one, the third and final, or I think final, I'm not sure. The third in the series just came out. It is, nope, not that. It is Crowned by Gold, which is this beautiful book that looks like an elegant, blingy ice torch emerging from a vagina. Crowned in Gold is Jack Casey's latest book, and I couldn't tell you what it's about, but I bet you can find out by going to theroyalgreen.com. And yes, I did tell him I was going to describe it as that. And yes, I did ask if he would pull his promotion if I did so, and he said go for it. So Jack, you're awesome. And to all of you guys, go support Jack because he is awesome and he's got a fun sense of humor. And I hear he does good writing as well. Anyway, freeounceofkratom.com. You can get some Kratom as well. You can get Delta 8 THC. We don't have to spend a bunch of time on it. If you haven't bought Kratom by now, it's free. If you haven't gotten your free ounce by now, then that's on you. And I don't know what else to tell you, but freeounceofkratom.com for that. Anyway, that's enough. That is way too much intro stuff. But I am here once more. Is it Travis? Is it Dave? It's of course Dave. Dave Casey, everybody. The man, the myth, the legend who keeps coming around promptly, even though I keep being late. Dave.
That's right. What's up, man? Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
3 weeks in a row. I feel like, I don't know, that sets a precedent. You know,
Yeah.
So we've moved to a new level in our relationship.
That's right. It's like almost Facebook official at this point. I think it's once you're a guest, twice you're a good guest that people like, and then third time I should be paying you at some point. But
I think this entitles me to voting rights if it follows the Libertarian Party rules at all. You show up, you throw up
Yes.
3 times, and you're good.
But have you been a member of the show for at least 120 or 180 days?
That's the thing. We got to look at the paperwork.
Jumping straight to the nerd references that most people don't even understand.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, have you been, man? Anything new over the last half a week or so?
Oh, man. In my life or in the world?
In your, I guess, things that impact your life. We'll get into some more stuff.
Today's my first day off since we talked, so I'm loving that. Still in my pajama pants. Smoked a couple bowls today. I'm chilling.
Nice.
Sipping on some Moroccan mint tea.
Sweet.
Some local honey. I feel very lucky. Yeah.
Nice. There is an update on one of the stories that we covered last week, which was the RIP MC group. The group is back. Just came back the next day, right after we talked about it. It was back. And so I hit up Heiss, and I was like, hey, do we have a plan for this? Like, is there somewhere that we're planning on going? Because I will happily direct people wherever you want. And he was like, I don't know, I'm still trying to pull some strings. And as I'm like texting him about this, I get on Facebook and I just click on like the search bar, and it came up as one of my search things because I search it often. And I was like, why would that come up in the search bar if it's gone? So I clicked on it, and there it was. And
I'm in here, fellas. Get in here. It's still working.
Yeah.
Heist knows somebody at Facebook, apparently. That's tough to get a hold of anybody at Facebook. So
I know.
That's that dude.
Trump couldn't do this, but Michael Heiss can. Just want to point that out.
He's had his account Houdini'd at least once for a while, and then they brought that back. I think he came back at the same time you came back in that like resurgence, the unsnap.
Sure. Yeah, my personal one came back, but the system is down page and group did not come back. And I even tried resetting up the page and the group, and they were like, nah, we see you. So if you want to join the kind of secret group, go to Facebook and join the TSID is down group, because for some reason that's enough to fool the algorithm, just changing it up that much, even though it says the system is down on all of our stuff.
Right.
But it's all good. Now, we did mention recently that if you have a story that you'd like if you're currently dealing with this COVID shit and your job is like threatening to remove you in one way or another, or if you have something to share, please send it into the show. Send it to me, Dan at tsidpod.com. We've had a couple submissions. These are all through text, so they're going to force me to read. But I've got a couple stories that we'll share before we jump into some news, because I do think it's important to put on full display what we're dealing with here. Like, with what normal, everyday people that don't care about any of this stuff, they're not like crazy anti-vax Trump supporters. These are just people you know, that are not allowed, because of politics, are not allowed to, work or feed their family soon enough. But this comes, I'm not going to say who this one comes from because I don't know if they want to say, but she says, my husband and I have COVID. He developed COVID pneumonia and is in the ICU. The scorn for not being vaccinated from people is real. They all but say he wouldn't be in the hospital if he had been vaccinated. So victim blaming is what I would call that. a bit. She didn't give that much more information. I will probably hit her back for more of the story. But yeah, just being in there, apparently they're getting a bunch of shit. This one, I guess I should accept this so I don't look like a douchebag when I screen share this. I hadn't accepted his message yet, so it was like, still said, you're not sure.
Thinking about it.
Right. This is from prize fighter Moma on Twitter. Hopefully he's fine with having his name shared. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Anyway. Sorry. I assume that's not your real name. Otherwise, it probably wouldn't be on your Twitter. But I moved my wife and kids 2 hours away from our friends and family a year ago. I bought a house and started working on the Open Heart team, already a bare bones team. The Heart program I work with almost shut down because 2 of my colleagues resigning. After an insane raise and bonus, one decided to stay. Now I'm being put on administrative suspension as of September 1st. I'll have 14 days to get the clot shot or lose my job. They've hired someone else, which replaces me, but that still puts them at a minimum. It's a team that's already stretched and stressed. The call hours are awful, and one more body taking those calls. Taking those call hours means a lot. So
yeah.
There's that. Dave, you got any thoughts on that?
This is like the microcosm, man. I think we touched on it last week, but yeah, this seems like this is the move where they're getting the good people out, and they'll be able to silence them through social media. You know, that's really easy. Right. And, soon they'll come out with headlines about the shortage of healthcare workers and why that's our fault too.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've got all these cases. I don't know. How much have you heard? Like we speculated way back in the day, like this is going to have a resurgence and these people who are vaccinated are going to start getting they're going to start getting COVID maybe again, or maybe for the first time, and it's going to be worse. It seems like COVID's getting worse and this is just speculation on what things that I've heard, but in people that have been vaccinated, when they get it, it's a much worse time. Have you seen the same type of stuff?
Yeah. I saw a headline today that said, I think it was like 10,000 some cases in the UK, which was like the highest since the beginning of the pandemic, which like, I mean, dude, if you're in the UK and you've been going as hard as they have on the mandates, mask laws, vaccines, lockdowns, all that shit, and you're still experiencing this, like at what point do we get to go, maybe this is having like some kind of adverse effects? Right. Our boy JJ Boogie from Arrested Development and Mises Caucus just said he got the jab. This is from Twitter, so I don't think he would mind me saying this, but he got it so that he could tour with his band. And 1, they're not letting him do that anymore. And 2, he's had 4 fevers since he got the jab, which, that sounds not typical to me, but I feel for him, man.
Meanwhile, I've gotten COVID, I'm 99% sure, and I've gotten 0 fevers since then. Like,
right.
I don't know. Did he get COVID after getting the jab?
I don't know if it was COVID. I know that he got 4 fevers, which I don't know what that means, but I mean, like, could have had the flu or like a really bad cold, but this is in that realm of, I don't know.
I heard Eric Clapton also had some problems, some complications from the vaccine, he alleges. And we're going to talk about that in his new song here in a minute, because I've got some music stuff that we're going to have to talk about, because finally we've got a couple cases of musicians fighting back against this bullshit, which is great.
Yeah.
Before we get into that, though, I got to let you know about the really, really good news, because we always got to start out with the really, really good news to start it on a nice light note and set the tone. This comes from spoonuniversity.com. Krispy Kreme now offering 2 donuts to vaccinated customers.
You fat fucks.
Yes.
I don't. Why doesn't it? There's literally a direct line between this food, and COVID death. I don't. Right. So not only should you have 1, but you should have 2, and this is per day, right? You can go back and get 2 a day.
I don't know. We're gonna find out. But they were initially offering a freaking donut We scoffed at a donut to get a vaccine that you weren't interested. Like, there was somebody out there who was like, I really don't want this vaccine. They were like, what if we give you a single donut? And they were like, all right.
But the best kind of donut.
Right. You got me there. And apparently that didn't work well enough because now you get 2 donuts. They're doubling down. Krispy Kreme is doubling down on your health, boys and girls, because they care. Yes. Jeremy Dean says Tom MacDonald and some other people are, I can't read all these, but some other people are saying stuff about Tom. We are going to touch on that too. Hold on. We're talking about Krispy Kreme donuts, the really important shit right here. 4 months, Krispy Kreme has been handing out free donuts to customers with valid COVID-19 vaccination cards. However, it would be a mistake to glaze over their latest offer. Not just one, but 2 free donuts. One is even shaped like a heart. You know, like the heart that's going to stop working once you get that blood clot from the vaccine and your donut.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's like, what's that movie? Idiocracy?
Yeah.
It's like, if you told me to make up a stupid script about stupid people like falling for sheepish things, I couldn't even come up with something like, well, they upped it from 1 donut to 2 donuts, and one is shaped like a heart, just so you know that they care. It's laughable and kind of beautiful.
And the people that will take advantage of this they have just as much of a vote as you do, and they will scorn you for not getting the vaccine.
Right.
Protect my health.
Yep. If you find yourself in need of more heart-shaped goodness, don't worry. The limited-time donut will also be available for purchase during the campaign. I was worried about the heart-shaped donut. Like, if somebody out there is like, man, I don't want to get this vaccine, or I don't want to just get 1 heart-shaped donut. How many vaccines do I need to take to get more than 1 heart-shaped donut? Because it made, like, who gives a shit what shape your donut is in, that they needed to include that in here. After September 5th, Krispy Kreme will resume its 1 free donut a day offer for its vaccinated customers until the end of the year. Holy crap.
Okay. So in moderation then. It's just this, we're going to go crazy for a little while, but then just 1 donut.
When I thought it was just 1 donut, I was like, man, that's stupid. And now it's like it's way worse. It's like you should not be eating 1 Krispy Kreme donut every day. And their intention, like, you can't look at this as anything other than they're making people less healthy intentionally. Like, I don't understand how you can explain away. You not only need to get a bunch of vaccines that haven't been proven and could harm you, but you need to eat 365 Krispy Kreme donuts in a year.
We need to find the link, because I bet you there is one. What's the parent company that owns Krispy Kreme and Pfizer? There's a fucking link there.
I'm sure Bill Gates is in there somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's fun. And you got any other thoughts on donuts for health, Dave?
Oh man, that's not the way to do it. Guarantee that. That's not a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Don't do that to yourself. And if you're going to do that to yourself, just don't give me shit.
Right.
Then I'll call you mean names.
Exactly. Did you hear about the latest breaking and most important news of Joe Biden checking his watch?
I've heard that. Yeah, dude. What was it during something very important he should have not checked his watch at?
Yeah, it was during the Marines memorial thing for I believe the people who died recently. But I'm not going there. I don't care. I do not care. This is. I'm glad that they're giving him. Yeah, I'm glad that they're giving him some of the same type of treatment that they were giving Donald Trump. That's great. Right. But I care just as little about this as I did about the crap you were giving to Donald Trump. Like, the dude checked his watch. Maybe he was just wondering what time it was. Sure, there are implications there.
Come on, man.
But he's an old man. He was probably just wondering when the next time he needed his re-up on his blood thinners and muscle relaxers and, I don't know, all the drugs that we're not allowed to have that they definitely have him pumping through his veins.
Speedy shit, whatever it is. He's getting up there.
Yeah. So I'm looking at this to see if we even want to read any of it. I don't want to give this any credence. I don't care that Joe Biden, the title is literally Joe Biden glanced at his watch. Glanced at his watch.
Yeah. I mean, there's more important things than that.
Yeah.
And it's to pull at those American heartstrings.
Right.
Joe
right.
Biden doesn't care.
Yeah. It's terrible that
He's
people
gonna be the fall guy for this. I mean, that's what it looks like.
Right.
He's gonna just take this one on the chin, and he's
Right.
cool with it because he gets to be the president, and that's all that he's.
I don't think
wanted
he has a
since-
choice. Like, I'm starting to wonder if the reason Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are in power, quote unquote, is because they're the patsy for all this stuff. Like, there's an agenda going on that they want to accomplish, and they're like, somebody has to we got to pull out at this point and move on to something else or somewhere else or something. But we have to do this by the 20th or the 20-year anniversary because it'll make us look really bad if we don't. Let's put these people in there because Joe Biden's certainly not going to be able to physically run a second term or anything in the future. So if he falls on his face, that's fine. Kamala Harris got like the lowest approval rating in her entire primary group. Well, the Democrats hated her, and Joe Biden said, well, we're going to put her in because she's a black woman, and now she's a good person. So they're just kind of like, whatever, we'll put them up there and let them take the fall for all of this crap because we don't know how to get out of this mess. Any thoughts?
I think that they're going to try to champion Kamala Harris. So I think they'll usher him out in the name of social justice, and the media is already on board because of the botched exit of the war that they wanted to stay in or whatever. So yeah, it seems like they've already turned on him.
Yeah.
So yeah, it seems like that would be the opportune time to install her, just kind of like they did in New York, right? Just go with the number 2. Yeah. Change the branding up a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know. I was also wondering, like, I don't know. I want your thoughts on this. Like, all the last 4 years, people like you and I who are libertarian radical dudes just trying to be as principled in libertarianism as possible, people look at us for some of the stuff that we talk about and they're like, oh, you're a conservative, you're a Trump supporter, you're this or that. Like that, I feel like our types were kind of pigeonholed into that. And now as Biden is pulling out of Afghanistan, we're like, good, pull out of Afghanistan. It sucks that you're doing it poorly, but pull out of Afghanistan. It's like overnight, over the course of like one event, people look at you and I as these crazy leftists that just are Biden supporters. Like it just flips that easily. If the guy that, if we support anybody doing anything, then you're a supporter of that person. What do you think, Dave?
I think that we stay anchored and they swing like a pendulum.
Yeah.
And the conservative Republican right pivoted right back to their default George W. Bush era neocon stance of
Biden doesn't like war, then we love war again. Let's war.
We do, yeah. And if we're gonna leave victorious. Like that's because that's what America does. And
that's right.
That's where, dude. Yeah. It's so sad because we're making some headway with the conservative right, with like criminal justice and, just being woke to the media and other things. But yeah, it took like a day or two after that. Ben Shapiro just went, he leads those guys. Like, sometimes he's okay on some stuff, but like, when something like this big happens, they go right back to default position.
Biden got us out of the war, so obviously the war is good. We gotta get back in there because people are dying. It's nobody likes that people are dying, Ben, but that doesn't. And I'm not praising the way Biden did it, but I'm certainly not saying that I know this great, magical way that we could have gotten out of there. I don't know anything about that stuff. And I'm sure Biden doesn't either. I'm like so kind of baffled by this entire exit and everything. It's like, I don't know. Even with like through a conspiracy lens, I don't even know how to take it because it is seemingly bungled pretty bad, but it also, some of the stuff seems kind of intentional. Like Tim Pool pointed out that they pulled out, or they gave a warning that there might be a terrorist strike at some point, and then so the Americans weren't being filed through. So no American citizens got hit, I believe, but they were still filing through Afghani citizens, and the Marines were still there as well, despite these warnings. So it seems real shady. Like, it was bad enough that that some people had to leave because there might be a terrorist attack, but the rest of the people were just going on as usual, and they are the ones that got hit.
Yeah, and there's so many unknowns, man. So yeah, it's hard to like you said, it's just hard to even guess.
Yeah.
But when that suicide bombing happened, my immediate thought was, why would the Taliban do this right now? Just like, Assad and the gassing and the people, like what's in it for him? And I don't see the advantage. Like, you're almost gone, and you
guys are giving me a country. Now we'll be bombing ourselves to get rid of you. They're leaving. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. But
what's in it for them? I don't get it.
I don't know. Speaking of things that don't make any sense, let's see. Oh, did you hear about good old boy, the man who has been called America's father, now America's disappointed father, as I'm titling him, Tom Hanks? Did you hear his statements recently?
Recent statements?
Yep.
No, are they? No, but I want to.
All right, we're going to watch this together, and I'm going to get your thoughts. Here we go.
Whether or not we like it, we're all in this together. We're all affected by this. So let's...
Just so you know, that is his connection, his recording. Tom Hanks could not get a better internet connection or a better Zoom or...
Is he a prisoner?
A phone, yeah. Where do they have this guy locked up, and why can't he center his face on the screen? Anyway, that's not me. Just pointing that out.
At the very least, there's a lot of stuff you can do beyond that. But at the very least, 3 tiny things is in everybody's wheelhouse if you choose to do them. Wear a mask, wash your hands, social distance. If you can't do that, I don't have much respect for you. You can have an immersive experience watching Greyhound. It's not the same as seeing it in a cinema. Rats. But that's a new reality that everybody has to adhere to, and we do know.
We don't, though. We actually don't. Like,
He's
based
help
on
usher that in.
Right. He is pushing for basically the collapse of his own career, I would say. Like, without people being able to go pay exorbitant amounts of money to watch your shitty movie in theaters, which I haven't even heard of, Greyhound. I don't know anything about it. Tom Hanks is a good actor. Like, I enjoy Tom Hanks movies because he is a magnificent actor. Now, the problem with that is, to be a good actor, that means that you are really good at lying to people. Like, your entire career is pretending to be something that you're not and lying to people for the sake of monetary gain. Somebody is paying you to lie to other people. I know that's a very cynical way to look at acting, and I love acting. I don't have anything against acting. But to pretend like we should be trusting these actors because they're actors, like, we should be trusting them less because they're actors. And I frankly don't give a flying fuck if Tom Hanks is my proud papa or not. He is he's just some liar who lies better than others.
Soulless. These people are soulless. They will say anything. They are highly paid influencers. He is the highest paid influencer, I don't know, the past 20, 40 years.
Probably.
But yeah, and then they usually start off their career with something like Bosom Buddies, where you dress up like, put them in a dress and some high heels for a couple years. Earn your stripes, some red heels, Tom Hanks.
You go down that route of the shaming culture of the elites to blackmail and all that type of stuff.
Oh yeah, yes I do.
Yeah. I wonder if YouTube's gonna have a problem with my title that I used for this. It had to do with Tom Hanks and stealing children, but the two things actually aren't related.
Bro. Yeah, we'll see. But let me know how that works out.
Yeah. I know people have gotten in trouble for
one or the other, really.
Yes, I know people have gotten in trouble for merging the two together, but I'm not saying they're related at all. I'm just talking about two different topics that, have nothing to do with each other. Wink, wink. Anyway, speaking of, entertainers, some entertainers aren't whipped bitches. Some are, like Boy Sets Fire. I saw you sharing that article recently. You want to share your thoughts on what they said there? If anybody even knows who the hell this band is that nobody's heard of since MySpace.
Right. I'm from Delaware, so these guys are Delaware legends, and they, one of the, other than George Thorogood, I don't know who came out of here and toured the world, but they did. Boy Sets Fire was a hardcore band. Everybody that I went to high school with, and was in that scene, just thought that they were the best. I mean, shit, they made some cool albums, man. But yeah, they're just the latest in a chain of artists who do the most unpunk thing and come out and make a bold statement about how they will not play a show, play in a band, play with bands, or anybody that's not fully vaccinated.
To Hot Wheels, Flawed Scod, and a Hangover Gang for Life in the chat, which is a really long name. She asked who. That is Boy Sets Fire. Boy Sets Fire. And you are right to ask the question, who? Sorry, please continue, Dave.
No, man, that's all I want to give to those guys. That singer of that band's kind of a douchebag. We've had a couple run-ins.
Really?
And he's a great big faker. He'll tell again. He's one of those guys who will just tell you whatever you want to fucking hear. What's in vogue these days? Is it fucking fashy haircuts and stuff?
Right.
And then it's cool. If it's not, and that's risky, then I won't have anything to do with that. And no one can come to my show with a fashy haircut because that means I know what it means.
I'm fine with these bands saying, "Oh, nobody can go to my show if they're unvaccinated." Good, like cut your profits in half. I am perfectly fine with that. The free market can decide for itself. And I, for one, if there was a band that I loved that started doing this, I would drop my support instantly. Not just because I think it's discriminatory, but because it's such a dick move to be like just the way he speaks, as though these anti-vaxxers are the reason why he keeps having to adjust his schedule and play shows in other places. It's like none of these quote unquote anti-vaxxers stopped you from playing anywhere, bud. They weren't the ones making the decisions. Like, point to the anti-vaxxer who said you couldn't come play. You're not going to find him.
And someone in a hardcore band who's been playing in hardcore and punk scene shows for 30 years should fucking know better and should have the balls to maybe go, fuck this shit. We're having shows over here and we're not playing anybody who, like Eric Clapton, who's like, somebody's grandpa. Be as punk rock as that grandpa, nerds.
That's right. And we're still not there yet because we got to talk for a second about Tom MacDonald's new video, which we're not going to play because that's not what we're here for. I just want to say, go watch it. Have you watched it, Dave? Have you watched Dummies?
Not.
Okay.
No.
Check out Dummies by Tom MacDonald. Tom, come back on the show. You motherfucker. I actually text him off and on, and we go back and forth, and I gave him shit for standing me up a couple times recently. But he's a very busy man.
Have you open up for him. That's what should happen. Tell you what.
Yeah, I absolutely would. But Tom, I think as to my understanding, he has not been on the road at all because Nova Rockefeller, his girlfriend, she's got some health issues where she can't go, she can't take any risks with this thing, which I fully respect that. And he's still hustling his ass off. He's got 2 albums coming out at the end of the week, and he just put out an album at the end of last year, I think. He puts out an album or 2 or 3 a year, and he's mad props to his mad hustle because the dude's insane. And the new song, I could give it some criticism for being very similar to a lot of the things he's discussed topically lately, and it might be getting a little stale in that department. Some really good lines in there, and that hook is a banger. There's one line that I paused and had to just take it in for a second. I was laughing my ass off, but he says something to the effect of, they say all white people think Asians are Chinese, but what white people do you mean? Europeans, Germans? Like he names off these different groups that would be considered white. It's exactly. You can call all the white people white, but if all the white people just assume, not even it's a bad thing or a negative, if they see an Asian person and their brain goes to, oh, that's a Chinese person. That's just the culture that we live in where, that's how it's been presented. It's not an offensive thing unless you don't like Chinese people. So that's on you. But, yeah. Jeremy Dean says, Nova rocks, and they are smart by only selling CDs. Yes, they only do hard copies of their albums. They don't put it up on streaming, so everybody has to come give them money directly if they want to be a part of that group. And, I should show it. I've showed it on here before, but, it is what it is. If you can see my wall of Tom MacDonald in the back there in the corner, I've got his last 6 albums up on display because I'm a fan. Nice. If I haven't made that clear.
Yeah, dude, I do respect that. I mean, he's all independent, right? That's pretty amazing. Yeah,
100%. Him and her do everything. He's got a guy that mixes, but he does all the beats, does all the music. She does all the videos, and no manager, no nothing. So it's fantastic. But
respect.
Enough circle jerking with Tom. We'll do that later on when he decides to come back on. As you have mentioned a couple times, and I wanted to transition but couldn't yet because we weren't there yet. This Has Got to Stop by Eric Clapton releases apparent anti-vax anthem. Have you heard the song, Dave?
I did take a minute to listen to it, yes.
What'd you think?
Dude, I mean, yeah, it's my fucking summertime anthem, and I don't even really like it. But
it's not a song.
I'm so grateful for it. Yeah.
Right. It's not like a song that I would pump regularly because it's not really my style, but I think it can pump me up just based on what he's saying and the platform that he has to say it on.
I think he said he uses the term BS in the hook, which I was like, come on, bro.
Come on. Yeah, I wondered if that was like the edited version for radio or something, and I looked around.
That would be cool if it wasn't. Yeah, you're right. If he says
I didn't
bullshit,
find the other
real one, that'd be cool. Other than that, though, I mean, thank you for making it, man. You are this is the most rock and roll thing I've seen in 2 years.
Right. So. And we've got all these punk bands like The Offspring and Newfound Glory recently, which is a stinger to me because I was a fan. Newfound Glory did the same bullshit or BS, as Eric Clapton would say. Out of respect for Eric, I will say BS. Newfound Glory doing the same thing and a couple others. But what it takes is an old man who plays guitar well to set the kids straight. And I hate to say it, but he's right. So in other news, I did want, we're going to get into this a bit, but I want to point out while I'm thinking of it, my cover band which I do, yes. I don't talk about it much, but we play out and we do some emo shit and we do all the old MySpace shit and like My Chemical Romance dashboard, stuff like that. We do it kind of acoustic-y with drums and like a stripped down drum kit that I play while singing, and we've got keys and bass and everything. So We're playing again for the first time since COVID come September 11th. That is correct. Somebody decided that it was a good idea to have me come.
Morose motherfucker.
They decided to have me come play a show on now we've played at this establishment several times. We realized this last night when we were practicing, but we've played our first show, I think, was on St. Patrick's Day. Our second one was on like our local antique days. They do like just a local gathering or whatever. And then our third one was on Valentine's Day. So I'm like, what's the next best holiday to get in there? If not September 11th.
What's up, 9/11ers? Oh man.
I have the flyer somewhere. It's not up yet. Maybe I shouldn't share it because the venue hasn't actually approved me using this flyer yet. But it is. We're going with the title 9/11 Emo Dance Party, and the flyer's got like two cartoon towers just dancing with like eyeliner.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, they're not gonna let you have that flyer.
They might.
I'd be impressed with them and you.
Yes. I will give them even more props if they do so. But it's going to be a night of dark humor and celebration of life and just playing some classic jams. And when I say classic jams, I mean my classic of old days. You can go follow that band. We've got a Facebook that's rarely used. Just look up the New Classics. And we'll probably be filming the set, and it's going to be a fun night. So if you're in the Aledo, Illinois area, come check it out at Ferg's Public House on September 11th from 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock because numbers matter. And on the flyer, I also have playing out on the patio, and then in parentheses, not an inside job. Anyway, back to Eric Clapton. if you're just putting that out there, if you are around, come hang out because it's always a fun time. We play for like 4 hours and it's a lot of fun. So from Yahoo News, so you know it's super legit because they're a thing still for some reason. Vehement anti-vaccine rocker Eric Clapton has put out what appears to be musical rant against pandemic restrictions and vaccines. The animated music video for the legendary guitarist, apparently anti-vaccine anthem "This Has Gotta Stop" features an evil puppeteer and protesters brandishing signs reading "Liberty, Stop, blah, blah, blah." And it also includes an illustration of Jam for Freedom, the British anti-lockdown street performance group that Clapton supports, noted Rolling Stone, which was the first to report Clapton's latest. I can't take this BS any longer. Fine. I guess if I don't know who Eric Clapton's target demographic is, but if they had a problem with him saying bullshit in a song that's about like tyranny in our country, maybe bullshit. If it has a time and place, I can't think of a better one.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, but he says it's gone far enough, and he does talk about things like I can't move my hands, I break out in a sweat, which I assumed was like because he said when you started laying down the law. I assumed he meant like cuffs, but I looked into it a little bit more, but he's actually talking about the symptoms that he had after getting the vaccine, where like he couldn't move his hands and he was having these cold sweats, and he was wondering if he would even be able to do his career anymore or play music, which would be, something like that.
Sue them. Oh, no, wait. No, he can't.
Right.
He can't sue him.
No, that's not something that we're allowed to do.
You took Eric Clapton's guitar playing ability, you bastards.
I want to know if Eric Clapton would prefer to lose his ability to play music or to lose his life. Like, genuine question. Because someone that.
I was thinking about that while you're reading this. I mean, he's 76 years old, and he's telling people to not live in fear. Right. And if anybody, who's the target demographic of the song, I hope it's boomers, because those are the ones that are living in fear, and to some degree, rightfully so, because they're going to have to deal with death sooner than the rest of us.
Right.
So that's why they are targeted. But here's a brave boomer telling other people to, not live in fear. I think that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. Absolutely. And of course, they instantly jump to, it doesn't really say all that much about vax stuff, but he is I don't even want to say anti-vaxxer. He's against this propaganda. Apparently, he took the vaccine, so he's not an anti-vaxxer.
I'm anti-it because I took it, and it fucked me up. Don't give me shit about it.
Yeah, and he says, like, he's not anti-vax. He's not a big fan of forcing things onto people that almost made him lose his life, whether you want to look at it that way or not. Like, that is his life, even if it was just, he lost his ability to play his little guitar, whatever. But of course, since he put this out, everybody saw it and they were like inspired by it, and they started to think and change their ways. They didn't like come after him or, post anything like Eric Clapton's racist 1976 rant resurfaces after announcing lockdown protest song with Van Morrison.
Awesome.
Completely rational.
That is so right on cue.
Yeah. Actually, this is apparently from December 1st, so this is an older story, but it's still relevant, and they're doing the same thing now. Like, that's instantly what they jump to. Eric Clapton was a racist once, so obviously racists and anti-vaxxers relate because Eric Clapton, that's the glue that holds them together. Like, these things have anything to do with each other. Like him being...
alt-right figure, Eric Clapton.
Right. If he was 100% against vaccines, like across the board, would that make him racist somehow? And if you flip that, if he was 100% a white supremacist, does that make him an anti-vaxxer? No, these two things aren't related in any way. You're just looking for shit on a guy that you disagree with because it's politics. But they did dig up some pretty bad dirt, I must be honest.
Oh, really? It's pretty. It is pretty bad.
It's not good.
Come on.
But there is a light at the end of the tunnel that we'll get to. So let's see. We must stand up and be counted. Blah blah blah. So they're talking about About the new song, Clapton told Variety last week that he found it deeply upsetting to see live events canceled due to lockdown restrictions implemented to stop the spread of the coronavirus. There are many of us, this is a quote, there are many of us who support Van and his endeavors to save live music. He is an inspiration, Clapton told the outlet. And that's another thing. You are taking away these people's lives already because these people haven't been able to do their job, do their normal career, the thing that they love so much that they've literally put their entire life into performing for people, into making music. You have completely stripped them of that based on lies. So what's the point in living? Like, I can only imagine if I played regularly and that was what I did and what I was known for, the amount of depression that these people must be going through. Whatever. I suppose they can... Eric can dry his tears with billion-dollar bills, but that's besides the point.
He's good.
Yeah. Oh, and the reason why I brought up that show in the middle of a thing about Eric Clapton is because I think we're going to play this song at it. This has got to stop.
Yes.
It doesn't fit the criteria that I normally use for the song, but it seems too good not
relevant.
to use. Yeah. And again, I don't even love the song. I just love the lyrics. We're also
Put your own
doing
spin on it, bro. It'll be great.
Yeah, we're also doing a collection of patriotic songs, including one little surprise that some people might enjoy, which is "Freedom Isn't Free" from Team America.
Freedom costs a bucko.
On September 11th, the 20th anniversary of September 11th.
That's fantastic.
And we'll be having some chats in between, too, about some things. It might get spicy. We're not sure yet. I'll be drinking. That's all I'm going to say.
Take it right now.
Yes. So, yeah, they jumped to that. Let's see. Here is the bad stuff. Learning that Eric Clapton was a bigot. Okay. He said at one point, now just leave the hall, leave our country. I don't want you here in the room or in my country. He's saying this about Jamaicans at one point, I believe. He says, the black, would that be the Italian word? The wops? Is that too wrong to say? I don't know. Like, there's so many words that we can't say at this point. I don't even know what you're trying. I don't even know the story you're trying to convey here.
Well, if that's a hard C word, I can tell you that that doesn't have the same sting over there that it does here in the UK. So they just drop.
What is the hard C word?
Like, oh, he's a cunt. He's a cunt. She's a cunt.
Oh,
they just drop cunt all the time.
Oh,
over
yeah.
here it's like,
right.
That's the worst one.
Yeah,
but I'm not saying yeah. I didn't read the rest of it, so
yeah.
I'm not condoning this.
Yeah, and Arabs and effing Jamaicans don't belong here. We don't want them here, Clapton added on stage then, using blatant racist slurs. This is England. This is a white country. We don't want any black W's, whatever that means, and C's, whatever that means, living here. We need to make clear to them they are not welcome. The rant went on as he called England a white country made for white people. So not the best look, I'd say. Not great. However,
so he's a white nationalist.
Is
at one
as Bill Clinton would say, define what
Didn't this guy come in with the hippies? Wasn't he right? He was doing too much booger sugar, not
right.
smoking enough weed.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
And a bunch of people came out bashing on him, of course, but I did like this one. I have a joke about Eric Clapton, but it's overrated and pretty racist. But down here somewhere in the footnotes is just a couple nuggets. In 2018, Clapton addressed the comments which inspired the Rock Against Racism movement in the late 70s after the release of his Life in 12 Bars documentary. He says, I did really offensive things. I was a nasty person, he said. He described himself as a full tilt racist at the time. I think it was based on the Arabic invasion. He says, there was this sort of air of this in the early 70s. I'm not excusing myself. It was an awful thing to do, he said, before adding, I think it's funny, actually. According to the Daily Mail, the guitarist described himself in the 70s as a semi-racist and said that he was so ashamed of who I was at the time. Clapton also recounted having once dated a black woman, having black friends, and said that he championed black music. So, there was a weird air in the country, which means the culture was pretty racist at the time in the location that he was, apparently. I'm not going to defend the things that he says, but what he does say is that was wrong, and I think it was really stupid of me to think that way. I don't think that way anymore, but for some reason this needs to come up now because he's also anti-vax.
Yeah. I accept his apology.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what else you guys want. Like, if somebody thought something stupid, if somebody thought 2 + 2 is 5 once, and then they decided later on, oh, obviously that was a retarded thing to think, then allow them...
a half century ago. Come on.
Right. Allow them to realize that 2 + 2 is 4 now and stop holding their former stupidity against them. Like, and the fact that this guy has been one of the most famous musicians in the world for how long? And we're just now going to talk, like, we're just going to bring this up whenever it's politically expedient for us to prove a point here.
Yeah. No, seriously, man, blues guitarist, come on. Why are you going to talk shit? Even 50 years ago, why are you going to talk shit of black people like that, bro? You fucking cultural appropriating SOB.
Yeah.
But I forgive you. I'm glad you're back in the game, and I'm sorry they're attacking you today. But.
For sure. I just got word that Tom MacDonald just dropped a new sneak peek. Maybe we'll just watch it together for fun. Unless it's the one he put out yesterday. That one was pretty meh. Sorry, Tom. Come on the show.
Okay, he's going to jump on that.
Right. Oh, it was it was the one from yesterday. That's not news, people, unless there's something I'm missing here. But this
Give
this
me
gal,
the new shit.
Yeah. She said BRB, Tom MacDonald just dropped a sneaky peek. Yeah, that was yesterday.
Oh shit.
Cool. So, wonder what Clapton thought of Jimi Hendrix. I don't know that much about Jimi Hendrix. What do you know about Jimi Hendrix, Dave? Well, I guess what he's referring to is if Eric Clapton was a racist at the time. I see what he's saying. Yeah.
Right.
Interesting.
And I bet you he probably kept that shit in. You know, music breaks down barriers. He should he should know better because he was around all the the best guitarists at the time. And
yeah. And he was, even the article that I was reading there, it says that, that rant that he gave where he dropped all those evil words, he was drunk off his ass when he said them.
Right.
Not that, I mean, I am a believer that does kind of shine a light on your true, thoughts and your true personality. So I'm not giving him a pass for that either, but he wasn't like making good choices in multiple ways, and it was a different time, and he's apologized for it. Really, all that matters to me is that he didn't harm somebody by saying it directly, and he is very regretting of being that stupid. So,
right. And again, 50 years. I'll give him that.
Right. And it's just so flagrantly obvious that it's 100% just because they don't like his politics, that they're going to keep digging this up whenever it works for them. So I choose to ignore that. So, in other entertainment and music news, because this is the Musicians Strike Back episode, apparently, we've got, did you hear about Rammstein?
No.
Rammstein?
But I love those. I used to love that band. Yeah.
That's the only thing I know of them. Yes. It's a classic.
What are they up to?
He's getting arrested over in Russia because he's doing the right thing. This is from loudwire.com, so you know it's legit. Rammstein, Till Lindemann reportedly arrested in Russia for having more balls than Tom Hanks, Newfound Glory, Boy Sets Fire. Who else? Who else is on this stupid list? Got any others? Oh, Offspring, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Rammstein singer was detained by police. A state-owned Sputnik News, a state-owned media outlet, reported that Lindemann was scheduled to perform as the McLaren for Homeland Festival in Russia city of Tver. I don't need to read this. There was this festival going on, and they were going to be performing there, and they were informed that they were not to perform there because there was going to be several thousand people involved. There's an expected crowd of 600, and they were like, you can still play, but we have to move it to a different location and limit the gathering to 500 participants. You have a venue, a band, and people who make their livelihoods off of getting 6,000 people into a concert venue, and you're telling them it's okay, you can still play, you just have to cut that down to 1/10 of what you would normally be bringing in. Any thoughts, Dave? Oh, and he got arrested for it because he said "fuck you."
So yeah, that was going to be my question. Did he try and play the real show, and then they shut him down?
Yes. Yes.
Well, that's pretty cool.
The letter also asked Lindemann to instead perform smaller concert venue on Sunday. The news outlet also provided photos of him surrounded by authorities. Meanwhile, Rye Band, is suspected of having falsified his intentions for entering Russia, having obtained a tourist visa. That's like, I don't know, the promoter or somebody. Let me see. Yeah, so he got detained because they went to play the show. I'm wondering if they were at the show, like playing the show, when they got arrested.
So, I mean, Rammstein is pretty big in America. Imagine how big you have to be in Europe to blow up in America with a German album.
Right.
So this makes me happy that over there, he's probably, I'm imagining one of the biggest rock bands around. So keep doing that, man. Yeah, that's what we need to see. More of that.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys.
The Germans got more balls than us, too, than a lot of our people. Yeah. That's great. Speaking of more balls than us, as I mentioned last week, and you questioned whether or not it was true, but France does have more balls than us. I give you exhibit lunch. This is the most based lunch I've ever witnessed. This is a protest of just people sitting outside eating lunch in front of establishments that refuse to serve anybody who's unvaccinated. And we'll play it here. There's not much to really see other than that. But
it's beautiful.
Yeah. This is good. Like, I know some people will look at this and be like, oh, this is just a bunch of stupid people, like, thinking that they're doing something. No, they're making a bold statement here because they're not only not going into the establishments to give them their business, they're protesting right in front of them very peacefully and very obvious what the point is that they're trying to make. And it's probably turning off some of their other potential vaccinated customers that don't want to walk past a bunch of people who are judging them to get into a business. But
right. That's why you can't get away with this too long, because before long they're going to come back with the pepper spray and horses and just
accidentally trample your ass. Yeah.
But it is great to see. I do like that.
Right. It is nice to see anybody doing anything, even if it is the French. Ugh.
Disgusting.
Who all do we got in the chats here? We've got a whole lot of conversation going on, which is fantastic. I'm glad you guys are getting the hang of this. It looks like it's still like a majority of women. I could be wrong. We've got more people in the chat than usual, but an awful lot of women in there. So there's something about this show. Maybe it's me and Dave. Maybe it's
the jawline.
Yeah. Maybe it's because we stream during the day when they're at home watching their stories. And
it's either this or The View. So
that's right.
Buckle up.
The system is down. The view of conspiracies and libertarianism. The view of, I don't know, burning shit down. The base view. Right. That's what we're changing it to. Anyway, speaking of women who belong in the kitchen rather than whatever they're doing right now. Kidding.
Obviously.
Kidding. I know ladies have a hard time taking jokes, so I apologize if you didn't realize that was a joke.
Jokes. They have a hard time making
Sorry. Sorry. I'm a man, so I don't understand words sometimes. Please don't mansplain to me, Dave. But you are free to mansplain to this bitch, because here we go. Oh, come on. Why does Twitter never load when I leave it open for more than 15 minutes?
Active duty military actually get deployed within the United States. That weapon is not just pointed at other people, other countries. It's pointed at you. If you do not get in your house when I tell you to, you become the enemy. Martial law.
Yikes. I'm just going to sit with that one for a second. Dave, any thoughts on very classy butch gal here, Marine, talking about martial law and stuff? Did you see this clip before now?
This fashy broad, has my haircut and I don't appreciate it. That's first things first.
I'm pretty sure that haircut was called the white supremacy haircut not long ago.
Yep. Look at her hard part. That's how you can tell she's a fucking tyrant.
That's right.
But soft features, so I can appreciate that. I find her non-threatening, so it's all good.
In more ways than one.
Yeah, right. You come to my house, right? You come to my house, then you can just remain non-threatening. Yeah, I don't know. This is. I heard there was like another part of this that maybe we missed or something out of context. But
oh, you mean this?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, everybody in the comments were like, "Oh, this is clipped out of context. This is." I even had somebody comment when I shared it, and they were like, "This is fake news. This is fake, bro. You didn't even watch the full thing, did you?" And my response was, "Well, I'll get your response before I give you mine because I don't want to spoil anything." So this is the unclipped,
uncut.
She. I mean, it is clipped by her because she took the time to put this very important PSA together and upload it to her very professional TikTok account for the Marines. But yeah, let me know what you think about the unedited, unscripted, and unfiltered, and definitely less threatening version.
So this happened. This is a message for our United States military, the Air Force, the Army, the Marines, the Navy, Coast Guard, SpaceX. SpaceX? You mean the program that was made by the guy who makes Teslas? Space Force, my guy. Moving right along.
So, putting the rest of the context in there, so far, to me, it makes her look even worse because she's clearly just an attention whore because she's like clipping it up, she's doing the funny shit, and then she's like, that to me, coming into this with humor and then ending on, we're going to play the rest, don't worry. But she opens with this happy, snarky humor stuff, and then she ends with, I'm going to come shoot you if you don't, obey my rules. So, doesn't help so far. Dave, are you giving it a thumbs up?
No, so far she hasn't got herself out of the hole yet with this.
Yes. Surely there's more to redeem her. Let's find out.
Right.
Everybody that considers himself a person that would defend this fucking country, where are you? I'm at work. Defending this fucking country. We thought the military took an oath to protect this country. They took it.
It was kind of funny, but still.
I hate them both. That's the worst part.
Right, exactly.
I don't want to help you, either one of you, or be friends with either one of you.
Right.
Which makes me feel like this is polarized America right here. Yep. And there's no place for me. That's what I feel like.
Absolutely. There is zero nuance. There is zero gray. There's zero middle ground. There's only awful or other awful.
Oath to protect our Constitution. That includes enemies, foreign and domestic. We did take that oath to protect and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. You know, domestic. Like a woman who decided to drive her vehicle through a National Guard vaccination tent. But keep that same energy. Where are you, military?
Any thoughts on that, Dave? We don't condone driving your vehicle through a vaccination tent. And
yeah, I don't think that lady, as awful as she is calling for that either.
Right.
Oh, this is awful.
Yeah.
Because if you're leaving it up to the American people, you need to let us know because everybody's on the edge of their seat. You've got millions and millions of gun owners that are ready to walk out and just start a complete fucking bloodbath. And we're beginning to wonder where our fucking military...
Yeah.
I mean, I'm no expert, but that sounded like a terroristic threat. Because not you talking about a bunch of gun owners going out and starting a bloodbath. Like, have you never heard of the Insurrection Act? There's reasons why the military doesn't deploy within the U.S. And if they did, your little good old boy system is not going to fare well for you. Understand that if active duty military actually get deployed within the United States, that weapon is not just pointed at other people, other countries. It's pointed at you. If you do not get in your house when I tell you to, you become the enemy. Martial law, you know, where your rights get curtailed. You don't have all those same freedoms that the Constitution guarantees at that point. So be careful what you wish for and stop opining about things you don't understand. Goodbye.
Oh, bro, it did not get any better. Listen, if you don't know that her pussy got wet talking about coming and shooting you, then I'm sorry. She was very excited about that.
Right.
So,
yeah.
And I'm seeing a whole lot of role reversal there. And yeah, the constant fucking this, fucking America out of the one lady. It felt like yo, I want my soldier to talk like that.
Right.
And I want my white lady to, be bitching
shut
about
up
it from
and get back to the
TikTok.
kitchen. Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Get back to some traditional fucking norms around here.
Yep. Yeah. So. So yeah, So to put this into perspective, you get the full context, and yes, what the first, who is the other lady who's talking initially? I'm sure she's some sort of.
Does she have a following?
I don't know. Like I don't know either one of these people, but like by face, I might know them if you said them by name, but I don't know. But yeah, she comes out saying like there will be a bloodbath. Yes, that's not great. You should not say that, especially if you're planning on doing it. But
Come on now.
I don't think any of them are planning on doing it, obviously. Otherwise, at what point? But I don't know. Like, for a Marine to be on this soapbox, it's not just a soapbox, it's a high horse, like, assholery, just the way she's presenting it. It's not like a warning of, like, hey, you really don't want to do that? Because we have, an army. We have a military that will destroy you very quickly. Like, it's not a warning for your concern. She's warning, if you guys try to push back against the government on this and it escalates, we will come in, we will shoot you, because fuck your Constitution, fuck your liberties, fuck all that. It doesn't matter. No matter, any of your rights. They go out the window as soon as we qualify this as a terroristic threat, which is, that should... The fact that this is out there, and that combined with, what's his name, John Brennan, CIA guy, lumping us in with terrorists, lumping libertarians in with terrorists, lumping Trump supporters in with terrorists, lumping 50% of the country at least in with terrorists. This is what you get, and they're telling you straight up, we will come and shoot you if you are on certain lists. We have no problem with it.
And she looks excited about it.
Yes.
And I'm sure as they're purging,
she's stoked for her Call of Duty LARPing in the United States.
Can't wait for somebody to fuck around and find out, because she wants,
She wants to get her rocks off.
She wants the big swinging dick coming through your neighborhood town, knocking on your door. Yeah, dude, that's what she wants. You could tell. And they're gonna purge all these good people from the military, and you're gonna be left with people like this who hate you, who will be sent out to do that job. Yeah.
Shannon Lee said, she said, it's okay, fuckers. And then she says, I was able to step away from the kitchen. Yep. My goal is to, and I'm a happily married man that does not care at all, just for the lulz. My goal is to just get as many women into libertarianism based on the fact that we're just making fun of them this entire time. And
this
libertarian
is
women,
unprecedented, by the way, dude. You're talking usually like 1 out of 100. So.
Right. And right now it looks like we've got about 1 out of 11 of these people in the chat are dudes.
Defied all odds.
That's right. So for no other reason than to say, to everybody else, we found the libertarian women, and it turns out they can take a joke, at least. That's right. I don't know so much about make, but we're going to move on to something. What are we at? Oh, we're pushing close to time, but this one, I don't know. It might not take long. I don't know. Did you hear about, okay. So we've got all these vaccine stuff. We've got people sending in stories. We've got a bunch of fear porn. We've got a bunch of people pushing for you to be afraid, and there's no reason to be afraid, because obviously they won't come for you. That would never happen to you. They would never do that. They would never come and try and take your children away like they did in Cook County. Judge strips mother of parental rights because she is not vaccinated. That gets one of these. That was way too quiet. Yeah, they're coming for your kids. See, it wasn't related to Tom Hanks at all, but they are coming for your kids. Yeah. And now, for those that, we don't need to read through most of this. It's pretty obvious, based on the description, what's happening here. And this is like 3-hour drive from where I'm at. So this kind of hits close to home when you've got judge trying to take legal action to remove children from parents because the parents are not vaccinated. Now, the update is Cook County judge rescinds order shipping unvaccinated Pilsen woman of child custody rights, but fight may not be over. So this has gone away. The most important part here is not the story itself. It is the fact that we know that there are people who would even consider, even think, even have like the slightest thought in their head that they would even try something like this and get away with it. That is enough. Like, I'm not trying to put people in like paranoia or anything, but the fact that any judge would try and take away somebody's kids because of vaccination status on a vaccine that has not been proven to be effective in any way whatsoever, I'm just going to say, that's horrifying. That's enough. That's enough information to know that shit's got to change real fast before martial law becomes necessary to stop us from the holy hell that will be unleashed if this gets widespread. Dave.
Yeah, man. I think this is probably the worst thing I've seen since the beginning of this COVID madness.
Yeah.
Like the worst headline or the worst precedent that could be set from this.
Right.
But like
just the hinting about it.
If you're a libertarian, then you know the nature of the state and you know that it's like always trying to remove child from arms of mother, arms of parent. Like that's the state, they think they're there to educate your kids. They're there. They'll make the decisions. It's always about this removing of, and that's why, I find this like to be the worst thing. And of course it's happening in custody court.
Yeah.
Because that's where, so much wasted dollars and wasted energy and, a great example of government at its worst. But, when I watched a little bit of this, I watched the mother get interviewed, in tears, just wanting to see her kid. And they had mentioned that this wasn't even brought on by the father, who was trying to get, I think she owed money, maybe. Mm-hmm. So the father was trying to get it in custody court. Right. And the lawyer nobody tried to get this to happen. The judge just did it.
They just took the opportunity against somebody who was in a vulnerable position at the moment. And they're just like, well, let's see what happens and see if we can, like, this reminds me of like at the beginning when they started hinting about the vaccine passports, and we were on the show. I said many times, like, they're going to try. They're like, they keep bringing it up, just hinting like, well, we know, vaccine passports, that's a lot of people are against it, but moving on, like they just kind of gloss over it as though they're planting the seed of this is coming down the pike. And you can watch like stuff like this as it progresses over time. With this one, it's like such a flagrant, hey, just so you know, you have zero power over your life. We're here, dude. We have it, and we're gonna take it. We're gonna take your kids if you give us the chance. I'm not saying that they're like, I'm not gonna go full on Alex Jones and say they're coming to get your kids, but if you give them the chance, if you give them that power, they will take it. They have proven that.
They have, and I'm glad that I'm banned off Facebook still, because I'm reading down through some of these threads where, thankfully there are some even on the left that are like, yo, are you guys crazy? Like
right.
I'm for vaccines, but we can't do this. This is insane. Yeah. But a great deal of people, dude, who are like, yeah, fuck that mother. This is child abuse.
Yeah.
Get this taken care of. So, dude, this is the manufacturing, the consent part. So they're laying the groundwork so they can get public opinion, and we'll be the other, and separating us so that when they come and kick in the door, it's like, well, you've already seen it, man. They have no sympathy, or, you've had your chance, and man, I've seen people wish death or just at least be indifferent to anything that happens to somebody who chooses not to get vaccinated. So yeah, this is all being curated, man, so that they can one day kick the fucking door in and rip your kid out or rip you out or whatever.
Yeah.
And people will cheer it on.
And who knows, like talked about earlier with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris being basically sacrifices where they just need to be the fall guy or the patsy or something in all this, and that's why they're in that position, so that they can accomplish these things and have a throwaway candidate that they can wipe their hands clean of and move on later on down the line. So if that is the case, more and more stuff, like if they want to start taking away children, or if they want to start forcing vaccines, or they want to do any of this stuff, why not do it under the throwaway candidate? Because you can pass all the blame on to them and then put in a nice Republican that will definitely save us later on who, overturns a couple executive orders and then continues down the same exact path.
I think you see the future the way that I see it. That pendulum swinging back hard, and a huge rebuke against the left with a strong man figure that would shame Trump,
Right.
Or not shame him, dwarf him in, perhaps what they thought totalitarianism would look like.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on DeSantis? There's a lot of Republicans and even a lot of libertarians praising the idea of him running in 2024 just because of the one thing that he did against this virus, or against this tyranny, I suppose. Is that enough?
Yeah.
Is that enough for you?
Nah, definitely not enough for me. While though I do really appreciate it, what he's done, and I love that we're talking about Florida, and Florida can be something to look to where we can emulate, and he should keep being the governor there. But I'm sure that, again, like all these egomaniacs, that's not enough to like lead those people and show the rest of the country. No, he's a Zionist that wants like them all to have the throne, and he'll run to get it. But nah, man, Dave fucking Smith, 2024.
That's right. Who do you think is going to be up against Dave Smith, Ron DeSantis? Who do you think is going to be the Democrat?
Kamala Harris.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine they probably would, just because, unless somebody else emerges, like AOC. Is she old enough yet? I don't know. But
I think she would be then, but I think that they'll move her up the ranks first.
Yeah, that's possible. I don't know, but I think the Democrats, if they want to maintain that power, they're going to have to do a little bit better than Kamala Harris. But I said the same about Joe Biden too, and here we are, and whatever this is, and we can praise Joe Biden for pulling us out of Afghanistan, and the Republicans will slander him for pulling out of Afghanistan because of the bungle. It's just, there's such a nuance in the middle on that situation where it's like, Joe Biden made a good choice in a bad way, and now there's casualties of ending war, and it's just frustrating. But I don't know. I don't remember where I was going with this, but just been pondering that a lot lately because it confuses me, that whole scenario. Like, if we had all these warnings, like every single president over the last 20 years has said we're going to pull out of Afghanistan. Why do we have hundreds of thousands of people in Afghanistan that are clamoring to get out at the last minute when we've been telling them for 20 years that we're going to get out? It's almost like nobody believed that they were going to do it this time, even though he said on national television, this is the date and you need to get out by then. And everybody said bullshit, just like we did. So,
yeah, man, I don't know. If a war based on lies, 20 years of lies, like how could we expect them to go on TV and go, well, this is our plan, and expect that to be, I'm glad it's over, but I think that it's mainly for probably like optics, like we can't get away with it anymore. Literally, we milked it as long as we could, 20 years to the fucking day.
Yeah.
And before the people turned on us. And yeah, I'm sure that's, I don't know, man, guys in the military, they could be doing this to make Biden look bad, to install their guy or whatever, right. Who knows how deep the 4D chess goes, but Trump couldn't resist. He couldn't resist saying, oh yeah, look how embarrassing this is. It looks totally bad.
Yep.
Very embarrassing. Even though he was the one who set it into motion and said it was, stupid war and stuff. He could have.
He takes credit for us getting out. He just doesn't take credit for how any of the bad stuff.
Like that. I wouldn't have done it anything like that. Would have been way better.
So obvious.
Really great.
Bullshit. Like, Biden campaigned on, I'm going to be better than Trump. I'm going to do things way different than Trump. I'm going to be way better on COVID than Trump. And then he gets into office and he's like, we're way better because we kept doing the same thing that Trump did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Different store, same groceries, bro. These guys, tag team.
Yep. So, I don't know. I don't even remember how we got on that. Oh, just talking about candidates and shit, but who cares? We do have to, before we jump into the bonus we do have to get some. We've got 2 more things. We have to do the Freak of the Week, and we have to do another happy story like a Joy Duck, because a lot of people seemed to like that last week. And I've got a fun one that we'll get into. But before we wrap up, we have to give you your favorite segment. Of course, it is.
This program was made possible by viewers like you.
Hey, get what you f***ing deserve!
All your days are belong to us.
No one can stop us from enjoying this, so enjoy it! Stop crying!
The most subtle transition that we can come up with to take us out of very serious news stories about stealing children and murder in other countries is that's the best I've got. But the Freak of the Week, if you're not familiar, if you're new here, Freak of the Week is where you guys submit, put out a call for the most ridiculous news stories that you can come up with, and I pick one here for the main episode, the public, and we roast it. We make some fun little jokes about whatever it is, and then we do a lot of the other submissions. We do a lot of those in the bonus over at patreon.com/thesystemIsDown. And this one, I don't remember who it came from. Who did this come from? 1 second. Let me find it. This one came from Tim. Tim is always one of the best. He always sends some of the best. I don't choose based on who is sending them, just so you know. It just happens to be Tim. I just choose based on the best headline. And this was my favorite for today. This is from NewYorkPost.com, so you know it's legit. China bans minors from playing video games on school days and limits weekend hours.
They're the parents.
That's right.
That's how it goes.
This is the future you ask for, children of America. China is banning minors from playing online video games more than 3 hours per week. 3 hours. So
Right.
I guess we've got how there's the stereotype of the very strict Chinese parents that their kids are amazing at math and they're amazing at violin and stuff, because even what is it? King of the Hill makes fun of the one Asian family for having the perfect child because they're basically whipped into doing it. So we need the government, because our kids aren't doing so well at their violin lessons. We need the government to put a limit on whether or not they can play video games. In an effort to fight addiction, gamers under the age of 18 will be allowed to play only during the hours of 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, and official holidays. Holy shit.
How's the enforcement on this gonna...
It's a great question.
I mean, it's just whatever reason to kick the fucking door in, man.
Yeah.
They'll take anything.
Yep. China's main state-run media agency, Xinhua, I'm pretty sure that's accurate, reported on Monday. The news is part of a broader crackdown on tech in the country and comes less than a month after Chinese state media slammed online games as spiritual opium. Threat doesn't sound too bad. I mean,
I kind of agree. Is that weird?
Yeah. I mean, I'd be much more of a gamer if somebody told me it was like spiritual opium. That sounds,
right.
Sounds all right. Threatening to destroy a generation, sending shares of game makers plummeting. Yeah, I'm sure the game makers. I mean, who does the most game making? Is it like China or Japan or somebody like that?
I think Japan.
Yeah,
I think so.
Does China have a beef with Japan? Could that have something to do with this?
Maybe, but I mean, I don't know. I think that there's still lots of I don't know. There's a big video game culture.
Yeah.
There. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I find it weird because I just figure that this is a way to enslave your people. Isn't that what the name of the game is? Just keep them numb and all that dumb and locked in the house. Isn't that what you want? You want them to go outside and play? What the fuck is the matter with you?
Right. Yeah. I guess they've got different goals than the United States, because the United States gives you free donuts, beer, and weed to sit on the couch and take a vaccine.
The People's Republic of China is beacon of freedom.
That's right. They're saving our children from the slave bonds of the Xbox.
Right. Tom Hanks isn't even allowed to go there. See?
Yeah, exactly.
It's safer for everybody.
Speaking of things that are harmful to children, as part of the stringent rules revealed Monday, online game companies will be required to register games using their real identifications. So you can't even game anonymously anymore in China. meaning that crafty kids and teens will not be able to evade the ban by simply creating new accounts under fake names. Sounds a lot like Facebook, actually. State administrators will deal with companies that fail to put measures in place. They will deal with them. That's not ominous and threatening at all.
AKA kick the fucking door in. We will deal with you.
Xinhua, I'm definitely saying that correctly, warned, citing a document from China's national press and publication administration. It was not immediately clear when the rules will take effect. As part of a previous effort to combat video game addiction, China already imposed a much lighter cap on... How long is this damn freaking article? Under previous rules, gamers under the age of 18 were allowed to play for 90 minutes per day on weekdays, and 3 hours per day on weekends and holidays. They were also blocked from playing between 10 p.m. and 8 a.m. Monday's new rules, which cut minors allowed gaming time from a maximum of 13.5 hours to just 3 hours most weeks. That is quite the cutback. Yeah. From 13.5 to 3.
I think it actually it's good. Like you should. It's funny that like it just sounds like reasonable stuff. Like it's a good suggestion.
Right.
It's just so bizarre that they're mandating that.
Right.
And again,
it's like
everybody
why?
Remember, this is the model. This is what you're going to get someday.
Yeah. It's like, what are you gaining out of doing this, dear government? Like, if it is, it's just like the vaccine, if it is for our health, then why are you threatening to destroy people's lives in order to save them from themselves? And how do you think that's going to help? I don't game hardly at all, and I limit the amount of time that my children are gaming or using screens and that type of thing. Pretty strict on it, actually. Some might call me they might call me the Chinese government, but the Chinese government isn't anybody's parent, and that's kind of a parental decision there. I bet it goes just as great as all the prohibitions have ever gone in the past with alcohol and weed and all the drugs and everything. I'm sure it'll be just as easy to put a prohibition on addictive video gaming.
Oh man, it makes me proud to be an American, like that white lady in that one video. Good to Marines and the Army and everybody in the fucking things coming down. Makes me happy to live here, dude. Just grateful that we're not fucking there yet.
Count your blessings and get ready. Like enjoy your video games while they last, because if our government...
I don't even play video games, but like, yeah, I don't need the government, again, being that specific about what I can't do. You know, we're just...
If it
seems
starts
like we're
helping,
at least a decade away from that, right?
there's at least a handful of people in our government that are going to be like, huh, they seem to be doing pretty good over there with
we got to keep competing with China, so we're going to have
with
to
the whole Minecraft
the
lockdown thing. Yeah.
That's how you compete with China. You do the same fucking thing they do.
Yeah.
Let's get some suicide nets outside of these buildings, everybody.
Amen.
Long hours coming up.
Get our children up there in the sweatshops too. Let me see if there's anything else here. Probably nothing else here worth noting. So we will conclude with this. This is just one that I stumbled across. I don't remember where. Hopefully somebody didn't send it to me, because if so, I'm sorry for not giving you credit. But we will end on another very important story and video. So this is from HuffPost.com, so you know it's legit. Someone just played a hilarious Simpsons prank on a Virginia school board. We're just going to watch this together. It is even better than you think based on that description, because I thought it was going to be a short thing. It's
for
not.
Us in this environment. You answer to us, and I'm asking that you do not pass this policy in Virginia.
Thank you so much, Ms. Thomas. We do appreciate you. Phil McCracken. Phil McCracken.
Please.
Souk Mahidik.
Souk Mahidik.
Ophelia McHawk. Ophelia McHawk.
This guy is not even catching on.
Wow.
Eileen Dover. Eileen Dover.
2 times each time.
Uh-huh.
Don Kiddick. Don Kiddick.
Don Kiddick.
Wayne Kerr. Wayne Kerr.
That's it.
Well
but,
done,
man.
kids.
Yeah, whoever you are, some heroes don't wear capes. That's pretty great. Which
he just kept going.
I know.
That's 6 names, bro.
I'm not sure if he ever caught on to what was happening there, but yeah, that was like 6 or 7 good ones, and didn't even catch a whiff of any foul play. So
I think Donkey Dick was the best one.
Don Kiddick.
Don Kiddick.
Don Kiddick.
Kiddick.
Which, ironically enough, is the password for this week's episode. If you've made it this far in the episode, congratulations. Wait.
Excellent.
Congratulations. Now, if you're not familiar, the password is just to let us know that you made it and you're with us and you're here and we're in this together. If you made it this far, go wherever. You can do it on Twitter or my email or, Dan at TSIDpod. I should probably say the email so you can find it. Facebook, Twitter, email. You can call in at 309-716-3818. Leave the password so you know that. Leave your thoughts, too. Let us know what you thought. All those things. But, Dave, it's been a pleasure as always, and we're going to jump over into bonus now to do some more stuff to talk about. I think there's like 5 or 6 other articles that you guys submitted. We're going to break into all of those. But, Dave, tell us about you and what you got going on and where people can find what you got going on.
Yeah, man. Find me at Dave VS Goliath on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Teespring, and, of course, YouTube and Odyssey. And please subscribe to those channels. That would make me happy.
Absolutely. You got any final thoughts for our viewers?
Oh, man, yeah, hang in there. Find those white pills where you can. Fuck the black pill. It's
sounds pretty racist, Dave.
Yeah. Y'all. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, no, man. I love coming on this show, dude. I love this show. Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely. We love having you, and the people have spoken. They love having you as well. So we'll, if not next week, we'll have you back on soon for sure, man. But thank you very much. Bro. All right, guys, that is it for today for this public normie episode, which is a term that we're not allowed to say anymore. Normie. That's hard to say fast. Normie. But yeah, keep being bad and having fun and doing all the things that you're not allowed to do. And I don't mean being bad by like going out and causing harm to other people unless they are threatening you or your livelihood. And by that, I feel like I have to steep every single word that comes out of my mouth. I have to steep it in like 12 layers of padding just so YouTube doesn't get offended anymore. Fuck it. Don't be retarded and go out and have fun with your life and don't be afraid of the real important things, which is life and family and joy, duck. And just keep having fun, guys. That's what I would leave you with. And go join the Downers Club at patreon.com/The System Is Down. You can get the bonus after party and all the stuff that we're doing over there. Check out all that stuff at thesystemisdown.tv. Drop me the lines at all the things that are scrolling across the bottom of the screen there. And until next time, continue to question everything, have fun, be bad, stay uncomfortable, be weird, and all the slogans that we say here because life's too short to be scared. Until then, where's my button? Goodbye. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe on your way out and help us change the world one uncomfortable conversation at a time. And if you like what you hear and you want to hear more, go join the Downers Club at patreon.com/The System Is Down for bonus episodes of the show every single week. Until next time, please continue to question everything, stay uncomfortable, and I'll talk to you then. Thanks.
This has been a Goulash Media production. GoulashMedia.net.
This concludes our broadcast day. Click.